something I'm calling the Believe series. I actually run this series every year because I believe in the power of sharing stories with others and sharing our journey with others so that we can see what's possible for ourselves in our own lives. I believe in the power of story in that way. And so every year I've been doing this. I know that I can talk about this all day long, the results we create in our communities, the things that people go from this place to this place. But I know that when you hear the stories from other people, it resonates in a different way. And it gives you this inner fire, or it can light a fire inside of you for you to go for your dreams bigger than you ever have before. And so welcome. If you're joining me live, if you're watching this on the recording, welcome to you too. Before I jump into this series and my guest that I have with me today, I want to invite you to Game On Live. My event, my signature event, the doors are opening soon. And if you're listening to this or watching this, it's because we're connected for a reason. And I want to make sure that if learning from me more deeply is on your heart, or you've been getting this kind of nudge in your knower, in your spirit, that you join us this year. Here's what I want you to know about Game On Live. It is not an event. Game On is a war cry. Think about it this way. What would be possible for you if you could fully embody who you need to become in order to receive and walk in full ownership of your next level? What if you could come and spend 3 days with me and walk away having made changes in your business that will jumpstart you to the next level of cash flow and growth? What if you could finally get that breakthrough that you've been praying for, meditating over, declaring and speaking out loud once and for all? Game On Live is 3 full days with one single mission. Actually, let me say it this way. It's 3 full days with a singular mission. And that mission is to eradicate the fears, beliefs, and behaviors that are keeping you from being the money-making badass that you know that you are. And over those 3 days, I'll be walking you step by step through the simple and powerful process and million-dollar strategies my clients and I are using to blow our own minds with what's possible in our lives and in our business. So here's the invitation that I'm going to give you, because the doors aren't open yet. However, we are going to do something that we've never really done before. We're going to do a super early bird investment level for Game On. And so if you know that you want to be in the room and you want to get a private notification from us when we open the doors for that super early bird, it's coming really soon. What I want you to do is type Game On ! In the chats. When you type Game On in the comments, someone, either myself or someone from my team, will message you with that link as soon as it becomes available, actually before we even make it public, so that you can secure your seat for Game On Live at a really ridiculously low investment level. So just type Game On! If you would like for us to reach out to you. And now we're going to jump into this series. So if you've listened to some of the case studies, testimonials, you've watched and seen some of the results that I've shared throughout this year, you know that the transformation you're looking for is really possible. People who were exactly where you are, who are sitting with the same kind of hopes and dreams that you have broken through and gotten results. They've doubled and tripled their last year's revenue. Some of them by the halfway mark, some of them during the first quarter of this year. You've seen me celebrate 6-figure months, 6-figure days, 6 figures in a couple of hours. You see me celebrate 6-figure sales. And yes, some have even been celebrating their first 6 figures after years of trying. And so over the next few weeks, we're going to be pulling back the curtains and having really candid conversations with how they did it style conversations, the strategies, the mindsets, and most of all, the being that got them there. And so today, I'm going to pull her up here. Today, we're going to have a conversation with one of my clients. This is Shannon Peebles. We're kicking this series off with her. Shannon has experienced some real growth over the course of the past year. And so I really wanted to have this conversation with her because I think her story will inspire you. So today's going to be fun. It's going to be a candid conversation. Like I said, we're going to pull back the wizard's curtain on her journey of expanding her capacity to believe what's possible and how to actually make it happen. I want to say this before I have Shannon introduce herself. Here's what I know. I can say over and over and over again what's possible. And until you see it or hear it out of somebody else's mouth, you won't believe. But here's what I know. Once you see what's possible, you can never unsee it. You can't unsee what's possible. And so what I know is when that moment happens, you're forever changed and transformed. And that's why I do celebrations of clients. And that's why I do this case study. So Shannon, I'm going to give you just a few minutes to introduce yourself really quickly and tell them who you are and who you are being in the world.
Awesome. Okay. Hey, everybody. My name is Shannon Peebles. I get the full screen. Awesome. So I am an executive assistant for life and business coaches. My mission in life is to support the change makers. I kind of see myself as like the wind beneath their wings, or the person behind the curtain, making sure that everything's all buttoned up before they walk on the stage. My clients are out there changing the world. They're changing lives. They may be doing it in small ways, like helping mothers to have a better household, or not a better household, but like a better family. Or they might be, working with major corporations. And so you moving just like,
sorry.
No worries. So I take care of things in the back end. I make sure that my clients have more free time because they don't have to think about all the little nitty gritty details. My clients end up having more time, like they actually make it to the dinner table, whereas before they might have been booked like solid 6 to 6 even. I've had some clients like that was their schedule, and then they had nothing left to give to their families or their friends. I also, I give them more free time. I also help with making things like running retreats possible, and where they can reach more people in an intimate. Pardon me. Tori says hello. Where they can reach people and really go deep in a shorter time frame. And so I have worked with life and business coaches for nearly a decade. That's the only thing I do. I only work with life and business coaches because I know their businesses so well. And I can anticipate where, as they're along their journey, I can see where the next stage of growth for their business is going to come. And so I can kind of help guide them through that. And I really work as like a concierge for my clients, helping guide them through the onboarding process, making sure that their clients feel loved from all angles, even when the coach is not able to answer right away, things like that. So my mission is really to help change the world by supporting the change makers.
Love it. Thank you for sharing all of that. And just so you guys know, Shannon's part of my team and she supports me while I'm changing the world. So let's have this conversation about your experience, your first, I'm going to turn off this heater that I don't know why it's on, your experience with working with me. And so I want to talk about where you were before you met me or were even introduced to me. Like what were some of the things that were going on in your life, your business or your thought processes? You want to share like what that on-ramp looked like?
Sure. So before I started working with you, I often didn't know what my next month's paycheck was going to look like. I didn't have any contracts in place. I didn't have any long-term agreements in place. It was month to month. And I knew I could pretty much count on like $400 a month to come in, but that was all I could count on. Some months were much larger than that. Some were even a little smaller because everybody was on vacation or whatever. And I was charging hourly a lot of the time. I did have a couple clients on retainer But with no contracts in place, it wasn't really a true retainer.
Yeah.
I was stressed out all the time. I was wanting to grow my business, but I didn't know how. I didn't know how to do marketing in the right way. I was very nervous about being visible. Like I never talked about my business on my Facebook page other than like 3 times a year. And then it was just like salesy, icky, like not attractive. It was like, hey, okay, so everybody's running a Black Friday sale. Come buy my hours really cheap. Like, yeah, no strategy there.
Yeah.
And so I was stressed out all the time, and I knew I wanted a bigger business, but I didn't know how to get there because I only had so many hours in the day.
Yeah. We were talking about this before we came on camera, and I was like, there's no way I would be completely stressed out trying to run my business, not knowing if I would have clients the next month or not. Right. And to have months where it's really large and then months where it can be as low as $400 in a month, which I know a lot of business owners run and operate their businesses that way. You shared something with me too, where you talked about when you did find me, you weren't sure if I would be able to support you because it didn't look like I supported businesses like yours. What changed your mind about that? Well, you can talk about that and then tell me what changed your mind about like trying it or taking the leap.
So when I first came across you, it felt like you mostly served coaches. And you talk a lot about helping people get to the one-to-many business model after they fill up their one-on-one roster, like being able to keep expanding their business. You know, you work 1 hour a week and then but you're talking to 10 people who are all paying. And I didn't see how that was possible with a done for you service. I couldn't vision it. And at the same time, I was so sick of not being able to grow my business. I knew something had to change. Your personality was so vibrant and attractive. And like, I just felt myself pulled to you. I remember the first time I saw like a picture of you. It had been at the very first Game On Live, and you have, this purple faux hawk and these amazing heels. And I was just like, who is she? She looks fun. And so knowing that what I had been doing was going to keep getting me what I was getting, I decided to take a chance on sales school to see if there were any skills that I could learn to at least market better. So I might have a steadier stream of clients coming in. That was really where I started.
Yeah. You said something that made me think of something, and you said you were attracted to my personality. And a lot of people see my personality and they think, oh, it's big. And I am a big personality. However, I wasn't always this way. And so one of the biggest points I want to pull out of this conversation right now is how important it is to be yourself if you want to sell more in your business. How important it is for you to show up as 100% authentically. I hate to use the word authenticity or authentic right now, but really 100% not who you think people need you to be, but so that you're comfortable in your own skin, because that has an energetic signature, and that energetic signature calls in your most amazing clients who know that they know that they know that you are their person, like Shannon. And so what made you decide to take the leap to invest? Because you started in Play Big. I think you came through the Cash Creation Challenge, right? You started in sales school.
Yeah. Yep.
So you started in sales school. You're now in Next Level Authority. You've been in Next Level Authority for about a year. What made you take the leap to invest, even though you had these like slight apprehensions about, will this work for me?
So I was in sales school for probably, I don't know what the timeline was, like 3 or 4 months before Game On Live came around. And I was starting to get some traction. And I was seeing you post about your mastermind. I was like, I want in there. Like peeking through the window. I was like, I want some of that. So that was part of it. During Game On Live, it was so powerful. And like, I didn't want to leave the container. I really just wanted to stay in this amazing space with you, getting to see you more often. And something, I don't even remember who said it. I think it was you were telling a story about when you decided to invest in one of your coaches. You said something about, do you really not trust yourself to take what I'm teaching and make at least that much money? And that I was like, all right, done. I'm in. I didn't know where the money was going to come from, but I'm like, I'm going to figure it out. I got some credit card space. I'm going to figure it out. And I did. I figured it out really quickly. And the very next month was the highest month I've ever had. No, well, okay. I just thought of another pay in full for a full year. I was like, wait, no, that one was higher. But it blew any of my previous months like way out of the water.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about some of the results that you've had so far. You went from not knowing where you were going to have clients come from. You had $400 months. That's what you knew that you knew to count on. And then these surprise months would come where you'd be like, Mama's buying dinner. I don't even know where that came from. What are some of the results that you have created now when you look back and you go, I can't believe like this is my reality?
I actually want to play off of something that you just said about Mama buying dinner. I was at the point in my life at that time, wow, this one's going to make me cry. Where when I had those really awesome months, it meant I could go buy brand new jeans for my sons without worrying about not having enough grocery money. That's really where I was. When the big months would come, we'd like catch up on all the, we were never behind on bills, but catch up on the things like everybody getting fresh haircuts or, making sure the jeans were long enough for my very tall kids, things like that. And at this point, there's an extra zero on what I can always count on. I make minimum, pardon me, of $4,500 a month right now. Yeah, that's just the minimum. So that is, what is that, like a 10x?
Yeah.
I can't do the math on that.
Yeah. Times it. So yeah, 10x.
So, and my business is more flexible now. So I just decided one day in, I think it was July, I had been for some reason craving going to the beach. And I was like, you know what? We're going to the beach. So I rescheduled the only call I had that day. I got up a little bit early to do a couple things that needed to be done. And I was like, grab your swimsuits, pack your sandbags, let's go. And I didn't worry about, in the past, I would have worried about, okay, how much gas is that going to be? Do we need to eat over there? Or can we take sandwiches? Like, I didn't worry about any of that stuff. And that's just like, that's a whole new paradigm for me to not worry about those things and know that whatever my kids need, like, it's fine. Let's go to the store. Let's go get what you need. You need a new shirt for drama. Let's go.
I love it. I love that there's flexibility in your life too. So you're working less and have more, or let's just say you have more freedom in the structure of your business, but your baseline revenue that you generate is way more than it used to be. And that makes me think about beliefs. So we're talking about expanding your capacity to believe more, believe what's possible for you to create. And, I'm all about making decisions and anchoring new beliefs because it's those beliefs that allow you, whatever you believe is what you're going to get. That's the result you're going to create. Your beliefs dictate your results. So what are some old beliefs that you had that you no longer have now that have opened up a new world of possibility for you?
The biggest belief that I had before that I no longer have is that it's impossible. My old belief was that it was impossible for me to work enough hours to earn six figures. That, there just weren't enough hours in the day for me to be able to work enough. And I no longer think that. I'm actually on track to earn six figures this year.
Yeah. And I need my pom-poms.
And that's having worked with you less than a year. And so just you talk a lot about, expand, what do you call it? Normalize, and then move on to the next level. Mm-hmm. So I didn't jump straight from 400 to 4,000. There were a couple of incremental steps in there that I had to like sit and kind of get used to. And the more frequently that I get to that new level, the quicker I'm able to normalize and be like, okay, what's next? What does the next step look like? Mm-hmm. I didn't used to believe that people would sign a year contract with a virtual assistant. I definitely didn't used to believe that they would pay in full for the whole year beforehand. And those are now both my realities. And having seen it once, I'm like, okay, this is what we do now. This is my new reality. This is my new belief system. I think I missed part of your question.
No, that was it. Like what old beliefs that you have that you no longer have?
I used to believe that people would not pay me as much as they're willing to pay me to be their assistant. I think that was the biggest one, was that they wouldn't pay me enough, high enough rate. And that I couldn't sign somebody for a year and know that, hey, for the whole next 12 months, I have at least, I have this income coming in no matter what. And that's been the biggest turnaround for me.
I love it. You said something about my methodology of normalize, expand, and transcend. And it's so important. I just saw that Mercy typed in the chat, we jump so quickly. We try to jump so quickly, and it just sends our nervous system and our whole body into a tailspin because we haven't normalized what's in front of us. And I think when you do expand it to the next level, the first thing you want to do is begin to normalize that, where it's like, oh, you just said that. This is what we do. Of course, people are going to pay a contract for a year. Of course, if they have the option to pay in full and that's what they want to do, they're going to do it. You're no longer even having those conversations with yourself because it's so your normal. Whereas before, it was so out of the realm of possibility because of what you believed that you didn't get the opportunity to experience it. And so then from that normalizing, once you normalize the level where you're at, where it is, let me explain it this way because I want people to get this. When you normalize something, you don't have to think about it. There's two things in your life that you have normalized. No one can take it away from you. Well, they could, but you don't have to think about it. The two things that I always use are walking and breathing. Those are so normalized to you. They're so ingrained in who you are. There is no conversation about it. So if you're thinking of raising your pricing or thinking of, doing longer contracts with people, if you're remunerating and going in with this conversation, will people do it? Will they not? You haven't normalized it because you don't think about if you can breathe or that you need to take the next breath. You just do it. And so once you do normalize something, then and only then can you begin to even look at expanding your capacity to go into the next level of whatever that looks like for you, and then transcending into something even beyond that.
Yeah, that brings up a great point. I was looking at, all these people in the marketplace, or even in your other in sales school or people in NLA, and I'd see that they're commanding these really high dollar figures. What was really high for my brain at that time.
That's why I want you to tell me.
was like a 6-month, like a 6-month coaching agreement for $10,000. My brain has now moved way past that. But so my first instinct was, well, if they can do it, I can do it too. But then I wasn't doing it, and I wasn't doing it because I didn't really believe it. And so I backed my goal down a little bit more to the point where, at that time, what did I pick? I think I picked, working with me for $1,000 a month for 90 days or for 3 months. That was the first place where I was like, okay, I can settle into this I can do. And I, did that for several clients until I was like, oh, okay, this is easy. Okay, now it's time to re-sign them. I don't want to re-sign them for just 90 days. I want to re-sign them for a year. And I raised the rates. So it was really taking a step back for myself and going, okay, what is my journey? My journey doesn't have to look like these other people's journeys. And, it's okay for me, it was okay for me to take smaller steps so that I could get, this is a bad analogy. This analogy doesn't work, but take smaller steps so I could get kind of a running start up the staircase.
No, I think it's a good thought process, because I see so many people who will see me celebrate a client who has a 6-figure day or a 6-figure month, and they're so hungry for that 6-figure month. They think that they're just going to go out and do exactly what that client did immediately. Okay, I'm going to do a 6-figure month, and that's what they're focused on. But everything inside of them is saying, no, you can't. You can't do that. Here's why you can't. People aren't going to pay you that much. If you're having any of those conversations, there's nothing wrong with going down to the level of belief where there is no subconscious chatter. And oftentimes people think that's giving up on yourself or giving up on your dreams, or no, I know my value. I know my stuff is worth $30,000 or the $10,000 over the 6 month. However, your capacity to receive is not at that level. And so what has to happen is you got to go to a point where you've normalized what's easy. When you normalize what's easy, then you're like, oh, yeah, there's no way in heck I'm letting anybody pay me less than this. And then you go to the next level and the next level and the next level. So I think it's a powerful lesson. Sometimes you do have to slow yourself way down to actually speed up to collapsing time and getting where you're trying to go faster than you ever would fighting against yourself, because you're having these conversations about, will they pay? Will they not pay? Am I good enough? Will this work? All of those conversations that are mostly subconscious chatter, because you do believe it. You're like, I know I can do this and I know people pay it, but the unconscious conversation is, will they pay me? Mm-hmm. When you look at your, I don't know why I keep wearing this lipstick that curdles in the side of my mouth. When you look at your own expanding your possibility to receive, if you had 3 tips or strategies you would want to give to people so that they can begin to expand what they believe is possible for them, or what they see is possible for them, what would they be?
I think really my first tip would be to start like I was saying in my own journey, start expanding in smaller ways so that your brain gets used to, oh, I can expand. Oh, this isn't as scary. Oh, I can actually reach, this milestone that I'm looking for. And then with each, successive type of expansion, to reach a little further. So, nope, it's gone. What I was just going to say is it's gone.
Okay. So what else you got? Got anything else?
I would definitely, we hear this all the time. The people you hang around the most with are the people that you're the most like. And so surrounding yourself with people who have the same energy that you're wanting to have. Like I joined NLA because I wanted to, and sales school too, but I wanted to, really dive deep with a group of people who were all about a can do, like we can do this, let's cheer each other on, and watching everybody expand together, and everybody cheering on, whether it was, I celebrated yesterday in one of the groups that I had a $99 sale and everybody clapped and cheered for me.
Somebody celebrated a $2 sale the other day. I was like, yes, we celebrate all the wins in this community. It's not just the big knockout ones, because that's another place where we really squash our capacity, right? We think if it's not the biggest win, if I'm not knocking it out the park, then it's not a win. It doesn't count. And so learning to celebrate even the small stuff, I think that's a really powerful tip to give people. Mm-hmm. Have anything else?
Let's see. Pick who you hang around with. I really had to start limiting how much time I was spending with people who didn't have the type of energy that I was wanting to move forward with, and to just let any kind of business suggestions or comments or whatever that were not from entrepreneurs, just like let it in and out the other ear. Just let it roll off my back instead of like, oh, well, maybe I should go get a real job. Maybe this isn't a real career. Well, a decade later, it's definitely a real career.
Yeah.
And so, just being really mindful, searching out the type of energy you want, and then being really mindful of the people that are already around you. Mm-hmm. That, for one reason or another, you may not be able to separate it could be your spouse, it could be someone living in your house or whatever. Just to be mindful of what type of energy you're letting in, and have kind of your bubble of, this is my positivity, and not about a false positivity either, but I'm going to get there. I'm going to keep moving. I'm going to get there eventually. Might be might be a little longer. And then just being mindful of what you're letting through your bubble.
Yeah. I love what you just said about it might be quick, it might be a little longer, that time expectation. Because again, we want the goal, we want the 6-figure month, and we want it now. We're like, oh, don't care how, I want it now. And so we go in with this energy that's just so negative and full of lack and pushing. And actually what happens is when you let go of time and space, you actually allow things to come to you faster. And so I think that's just powerful, holding that space of it's done, it's happening, I'm doing my part, and it's going to be okay. I have one question I want to ask you about community. And that's this, because there's lots of places that people can go. What makes this community, our community, and the body of work that we're going through different? What's different about it?
So the very first thing that comes to mind is this is a no whining zone. And it's not about being shameful, but everyone is held to the same standard of we own whatever's going on. And, if you're looking for strategies or tips or whatever to move forward, everybody's going to jump in and, support you with that. If you're looking for a place to just complain, that's not this space. Mm-hmm. That's not to say that we don't also, it's such a safe and loving community that, I had a family emergency this summer, and the only place I felt safe talking about it was in this community. And so I was just like, this is what's going on with me. I could really use your love and your prayers right now. And everybody circled the wagons and just really lifted me up through that. And I love this community. Everybody's trying to grow their businesses. Everybody's looking forward. There's not, oh, this is why it won't work. This is why it won't work for me. Even though I was one of them, I'm like, I can't make 6 figures doing this.
Yeah.
It just nobody held that belief with me. They're like, no, that's not true. You can do this. We can find, you can find a way to 6 figures doing what you do. And there's always someone else who has, some kind of a similar business that you can look and see, okay, here's where they were, here's where they've grown to, here's how they got there. Okay, my journey won't look exactly the same, but it gives you kind of a roadmap of, okay, they blazed this trail. Let me come along behind them and, pave it, or I don't know. Yeah. I'm terrible with analogies.
I was just thinking that's one of the most powerful things that I believe this community has is the example, right? So yeah, there's the feet to the fire accountability that comes from everybody being self-accountable to themselves. It's like, I'm going to do the thing. And if I'm going to do the thing, you're going to do the thing.
Yeah, exactly.
We're all going to do the thing, and we're going to hold each other to the highest versions of ourselves. We're not going to listen to your stories about why you think it won't work or all of those things. You got to at least try, and then we'll talk about it. Mm-hmm. And we only see you as powerful, right? Not as broken. It doesn't matter how you're seeing yourself in that moment. You could be having a breakdown. We still see the powerful version of you. And then there's the examples of people that have gone before you, again, like you said, that have blazed the trails, I think it is super powerful. I want to wrap up this conversation, and I want to give you an opportunity just to think, not in your head, right? I want you to get out of your head, and I want you to just talk to someone who may be in a similar situation as you were. If you think about where your life was at that point, when you were at the point of decision, to invest or to not invest, to join this community or not join this community, to lock arms with me and allow me to mentor you or not mentor you, and you were looking for change, what would you say to them? What's something that you would share with them?
I'm up in my brain. I can tell. So let me just sink in for a second. I would say that if you're looking to change the direction of your life, if you're looking to change the direction of your business, you've tried all the other things, you've bought all the courses, and it's just not working for you, that, as you just said, locking arms together. If you lock arms with Shamika, you're going to be brought along in a very powerful way. It's not going to be like dragging behind. It's going to be partners, and your life's going to change. If you take everything to heart and do the lessons, do the challenges, do whichever program you're in, do all the things exactly the way Shamika says, it's going to work. And if it doesn't work perfectly for you, she's going to have suggestions for how we can tweak it so it does work for you. I feel really weird talking about you in the third person while you're in front of me.
Well, I'm sitting here. I feel weird listening to you do it, so it's okay. I never know what people are going to say when I ask that question. So I'm like, just pretend like I'm not here.
I would say you're ready to have your old way of business and your old way of life just be burned to the ground and build from a new, stronger foundation. Join sales school, join NLA, go to Game On Live, whatever you can do, find some kind of way to work with Shamika. That's really what I would say.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. It's been really powerful for me to watch your journey. Especially when I see the mind chatter in the beginning and I watch it dissipate as you continue to expand. And I want to thank you for being so open about, how this has looked for you, because that's why we do these conversations. I want them to be affirming and powerful. And I want people to be able to say, okay, that's what I'm thinking right now. And Shannon's showing me that there is a different way. So thank you for being willing to do this. I want to take a second and just do one more invitation to Game On Live. You've heard all the stuff that we talked about, and I'm very, very clear that working with me isn't cheap. And so I try to provide opportunities for people to learn from me. I do these free live streams. We do a masterclass every month. And Game On Live is one of those things. It's 3 full days of being immersed in the community, first and foremost. Being immersed in this body of work that I teach that shows you how to expand it to the next level and the next level, plus the $1 million strategies that I teach my clients that allow them to do things like 10x their income in less than a year, turn their annual income into their monthly income. Clients who are on the threshold of crossing the $1 million mark this year, celebrating 6-figure days, 6-figure months. We go through that strategy step by step, and it's one of the lowest investment levels that you'll be able to do that. And so you that are watching this are going to get a special invitation, because I'm going to do a super early bird where it's definitely no brainer for you to be in that room. It's going to be virtual. It's November 11th, 12th, and 13th. All you have to do right now, if you're feeling that tug, like there's something about this for me, and I don't know where I'm going to go with it, but I know I want more. I want you to type Game On in the comments, and here's what will happen when you do that. We haven't released tickets to the public. We are still working on getting our in-house clients and all of those people registered. But in a few short weeks, we will be opening the doors to the public with a super early bird price point. When you type Game On, you're going to get a special invitation privately. We're going to reach out to you, either me or someone from my team. We're going to give you a special invite and an opportunity to come to Game On Live at a fraction of the investment. So just type Game On if you know you want to be in the room. You know you want to learn and hear more about the strategies we teach, the mindsets and the beings and the frameworks that we use in order to collapse time and totally eradicate any of the negative beliefs, feelings that are stopping us, I go through this work as well myself, from accomplishing the biggest, boldest, most badass dreams that you have. Here's what I know. People often say it's lonely at the top, and I've learned that it doesn't have to be, because the work that I'm doing changes people's lives. And so we go together. I go, you go. We move. There's a ripple effect to this work. The ripple effect expands and expands from me to my clients, to my clients' clients. And that's a powerful, powerful, powerful experience. And we want to invite you to join us on the journey. So Game On in the comments, and then we will reach out to you. Shannon, is there anything else you want to share as we wrap up?
Actually, I do have two things that I want to share. One of them is, the whole time you were talking about Game On Live, I'm like, I got stuff to say. Being in the virtual Game On Live last year, it was the first time I had attended a Game On Live or any kind of retreat like this. The energy was just electric. Like, I almost couldn't sleep. I was so, like, I could see a new future for my business. And just the power in the room. Oh my gosh. So yeah, definitely, like, as soon as you can, hop on the Game On Live. And then the other thing I wanted to share, what you just said about how you help your clients, and your clients' clients also see that. I have one client in particular who used to charge very, like, $1,500 for 6 months of a group coaching program with her. And I have been taking what I'm learning and helping to empower her and hold her feet to the fire of, really? That's really all you're going to charge? Like, come on now. You keep saying that you want to reach, the higher echelons of clients, and, like, that's not. So I have been taking the lessons that I've been learning, and my clients are benefiting from them, and their businesses are just exploding. And so, very much, if you take what you're learning, you can take it to your clients. No matter what your business is, there's going to be something that you can take to your own clients and take to your family, and take to your team members. So yeah, I just wanted to highlight that that's an experience that I'm having.
Thanks for sharing that. Yeah, I feel like this work changes you, right? It changes how you show up in the world. And because you shine brighter and you show up differently, other people can't help but to benefit from that change inside of you. So Shannon, thank you again for doing this. I really, really appreciate you doing this. Guys, thanks for hanging out with us today. We'll be back. The Belief series is going to be happening all the way up until we get to November 11th, 12th, and 13th for Game On Live. So tune in each time for a different story, a different vantage point on how this looks. I want to expand your capacity to believe what's possible for you. Thanks, guys. I'll talk to you later. Thank you so much for watching my show, my channel. Here's what I want you to do. If you really love what you've been listening to, I want you to subscribe to my channel and leave me a comment. No, really, leave a comment. Like right now. I'm not gonna stop talking until you leave a comment. Seriously, leave a comment.